Our second speaker is Mr. Ross George from the Australian Engineering Solutions, Austeng, who will give us an employer's perspective of working in the gig economy. Ross is the owner and managing director of Austeng, a family-based engineering company located in North Geelong. Ross is well known as a passionate engineer who brings engineering flair and innovative thought to many diverse projects. He's a qualified mechanical engineer, graduating from Melbourne University with honours. He's been admitted as a Fellow of Engineers Australia in recognition of his contribution generally to the practice of engineering and responsibility for the design and execution of numerous important engineering projects. He's a good friend of the land. Welcome, Ross.
Thank you. So I'm going to talk a little bit to the gig economy as it relates to us, and then a couple of case studies and draw some conclusions on that. So up until about 8 years ago, they were a lot of our customers. And none of them are our customers anymore because they're gone, disappeared. When their car companies announced their closure, while they were continuing to manufacture, we supply equipment into these car companies. So we supply capital equipment. So we make the machines that make that make the cars. And of course, if you're going to close your business down in 5 years' time, you don't buy any capital equipment. So for us, it was a guillotine. We lost 70% of our business overnight. So we had to go and create a new business, which I attribute to my darling business partner, who is also my wife. We now make machines that make graphene. This is an Australian startup company. It's a wonderful story. They're one of the only companies in the world producing commercial quantities of graphene, which is a new wonder material. It's planar carbon. It's pure graphene is a sheet of carbon 1 atom thick. We've got this cracking technology from Deakin University, which we can actually bend corrugated iron. That's done cold with very little lubrication. It's going to make significant changes in the building industry. It'll make houses that are made out of corrugated iron colour bond. It takes all the gaps out where you've got flashings, reduces ember attack, reduces leaks, insect ingress. Again, this is a Geelong startup company. We make machines that replace the in-ground section of wooden power poles in situ. So there could be a pole out there at the minute having the in-ground section being replaced, and we wouldn't know. The power stays connected. This machine hangs onto the pole, machines the bottom of the pole, and you replace the butt of the pole with a precast concrete joined together with a steel tube. This is the fun one. So we do some firefighting simulation. This is not our technology, this is a Dutch company. But they make things that look like Black Hawk helicopters and cars, and they train firefighters. That is a genuinely silent wind turbine. So these are just a range of things that we do, and there is a point to this. So that this particular geopolymer it looks like concrete, tastes like concrete, but it actually hasn't got any concrete anywhere near it. It's actually got better properties than concrete, but it's incredibly environmentally friendly. It's got about 20% of the greenhouse footprint of conventional concrete, and we've worked in collaboration with a company that we actually did what we believe is the largest precast pour of this particular material. It's sitting in a cemetery in Sydney. Another Deakin technology. So this is short polymer fibres for growing adult stem cells. So the point that I'm making there is when we worked for Ford, Holden, Toyota, GED, Bendex, we knew roughly, we didn't know what jobs we were going to get, but we knew roughly what we were going to be making. So we could tool up in terms of equipment, in terms of staff, in terms of skills. We knew what we wanted. Now that just got completely changed, turned on its head, because the skill set that we need to make machines that do graphene are completely different to the skill set and the machines that we need to do a pole rebutting machine, which are again completely different again to a machine that we need, the skill set we need to make machines that do bent corrugated iron. So for us, the gig economy is a really good thing, because what it means is I can go out and I can find people with skill sets for the job that we need to do what we want. And then for the next job, I need to find a different skill set. So I'm not trying to exploit people. What I'm trying to do is create a business where, which is where Australia needs to be, is that nimble, quick, high value, smart economy. And that's where we've got to be. And to do that, our workforce needs to be a lot smaller, and we need to be able to drag in resources from hopefully from the Geelong area, and so far from the Geelong area. So the gig economy, we need the gig economy to survive, because we need to be able to draw on all those different skills. And so that's the context from us. And I'm sure we're not unique in that. There are a whole lot of wonderful companies in Geelong doing a whole lot of really good things in different spaces to us that also need to be able to change their skills. They can't, that large customer base of the Ford and Alcoa and all these, that's disappeared, and it's never going to come back. We need to wrap our brain around that. And there's a lot of talk about the traditional jobs. Well, in actual fact, I don't think so. They're the old jobs. They're not traditional anymore. They're gone. And I'll give you 3 examples from our own workforce in no particular order. So we've got an electrical engineer, and this guy's an absolute surfing nut. Great electrical engineer, great surfer, family is into surfing, and the structure of working at our place in a full-time job, where you got 4 weeks leave, you were stuck in some sort of routine as to when you got that leave, and we started at a certain time and we finished at a certain time, didn't suit him. That's great. So he has now his own business, his own gig, and he still works for us a lot. And he's got an absolutely cracking skill set in a whole lot of programming and PLCs and all the rest of it. So we grabbed him to do the graphene machine. We didn't grab him for the form flow machine. We did grab him for our pole rebutting machine. So he now takes a lot more leave. He earns a lot more money than he does when he was working for us, because he's a highly skilled, highly valued, and he can command a premium. Great. We've got access to him when we want him. He's got the flexibility he wanted. So to me, everyone's a winner. We just recently had one of our fitters leave, because he's got a young family. We start at 7. He wanted to drop his kids off. If he's working with somebody else that starts at 7 and he's dropping, it just doesn't work. So he's now gone, and again, we use him. He's got this great fitting skill set in a couple of particular areas. So we've used him, and we've actually supported this guy to go out, and he uses our workshop occasionally. So he now drops his kids off when he wants to. He works crazy hours at the other end of the day. He's sort of still working at 8 or 9 o'clock sometimes at various places. But it's his choice. He does what he wants, and it suits him, and it suits his family. The other example is a little bit more unfortunate in that this particular person, actually his partner passed away and he had a young family, the electrician, and again he wires up a lot of our control panels, and he's unbelievable. He's fantastic. And there's a point that I'm getting to. This guy wires control panels, and there's hardly ever a mistake in them. So we always use him. He's really good. So the gig economy has suited them, and it's suited us, and it works really, really, really well. They're getting the lifestyle that they want. They're getting a better income. We're getting the services we want, when we want them, how we want them. And some people say, well, it's really hard to take leave and all the rest of it. These guys are quite well organised. So that one guy, our fitting friend, he's actually got another fitting friend. So if he's and this particular guy wanted, one of the reasons he left, he wanted to take his family to the US for 7 weeks. He didn't have 7 weeks leave. But what he did is he's got another friend which takes his calls. So his gig work still continues. He hasn't got he hasn't got that, you know, that disconnection. He's maintained that flexibility with a bit of smarts and a bit of intelligence. So I don't actually accept so one of the criticisms you hear of gig work is it's been inflexible. You know, if you're smart about it, it can work really well. So now, I'm trying to read without notes, but I forget it occasionally. So, and I'm going to be a little bit controversial here because one of the faults with the system as it stands at the minute is the system actually tells you now you can only be sick 9 days a year. That is completely independent of whether you're feeling well, you're not feeling well, your parents are old, your kids are young, there's a flu epidemic, whatever. You know, we shove people into a square hole. You know, you can only be sick 9 days, you can only have one, I forget what it is, 1 or 2 bereavement days a year. So you can only have one person in your family die a year. You can only take 4 weeks leave. You know, it's just the most, and then to add insult to injury, what you then do is you then give the employer that money for them to look after, and then they go broke, which happens, and you lose that money, and everyone carries on. You know, we're not empowering people, in my view. We're not empowering people. If you're in the gig economy, you've got all that empowerment. You know, you can put more money into super if you want to. You can take more leave if you want to. You can take less leave if you want to. You know, if you're unfortunate enough to have elderly parents, you can be a bit more flexible. So I think the gig economy done well, and that's the emphasis, and I'm going to be interested to hear our union friends talk a bit about it later on. Done well, it's really good for everybody, is my argument. The characteristic of the people that I'm talking about are they've got a unique skill set, as our business has got a unique skill set, as other businesses, as these people have. So these people are in demand. We need them, they need us, so it works really well. Where it falls down, in my view, is, and everyone brings up the Uber examples and all this sort of thing. Where it works badly is, if you're delivering stuff for Domino's Pizzas or Uber or something like that, when you're in that no skill, low skill area, that's where it falls off. So, to me, what we need to be doing is not focusing on that. We need to cater for that. That's very important. But we need to set up structures that we really encourage the gig economy to work well, and we need to make sure that we capture the people where it doesn't work well. But I don't think we need, as a society, as a community, as governments legislating, we don't need to be looking down there. We need to be looking at where it works well, how it works well, why it works well, making sure we've got some safety nets. And so therefore the sort of my closing point is, and if you look at and especially if you look at the low skill worker end, there's a whole lot of discussion about Uber at the minute. Now you can reform Uber till you're blue in the face. In 8 years' time, Uber drivers won't exist because you'll be driverless cars, because that skill set that won't need to exist anymore. So what I think we need to do as a community is we need to be making sure the characteristics of the people that are doing well are those that are passionate, that have got a skill set, that are good communicators. So we need to get, we need to get these lower skilled people as much as we possibly can up into that area. Find out what pushes their buttons. Find out what turns them on. Train them in those areas. Give them all those skills. Teach them to be passionate. Teach them to communicate. And that'll immediately slide up, because we can't sit there. All of the from a technology point of view, all of these jobs like driving machines, driving cars. I mean, you go to a mine now. They're talking about these big haul packs, 250-ton haul packs, not going to be driven by people. There's a debate at the minute about trains. Train drivers are going to disappear. Taxi drivers are going to disappear because there's cars. So we need to get people out of that low skill area, because the low skill areas have been taken over by automation. And the reason they've been taken over by automation is we've got better sensors, we've got better computers, we can write better algorithms, and it'll happen. So we need the land and others and governments and us as employers, we need to spend time on our, with our gig people to make sure that they are actually, have got the skills that we need. So we need to be telling them what they need to do, what skills they need to acquire. They need to be often acquiring them, and doing that, we need to make sure that we sort of get the people out of the low end. So that's the employer's perspective, and I'm going to be really interested to see the balance on the others. So thank you so much.